definitely think that I think it's a really good thing to talk about because I
Yeah, let's dive
have
into
had
it.
this conversation with athletes myself too, man. And, the thing is at the end of the day, when it comes to bodybuilding, you're a paying client. If you're not getting out of your relationship with your coach what you're hoping to, it's completely under your own decision, like what you want to do, where you want to take your
Yeah.
business. I think I think loyalty is what's up, Maddox, and what's up, Ty. I think it's good to just like have the understanding that it's it's a business at the end of the day. And if you're not
Yes.
getting the service that
Yes.
you want, you should have the autonomy to be able to go, hey, it's been real. Maybe I still do have a lot of respect for you. Maybe I still like you as a person, but I'm going to take my business elsewhere. So
Yeah.
what do you think? I mean, you're the one who started this conversation, so I kind of want to hear from you, like your
Was
perspective.
it
Like,
was it live so they know what we're talking about right now when we were talking about that or
yeah. So,
no?
guys, what we're talking about is well, a big topic that's been coming up with Lance with consultations with potential clients coming in is they're in situations with coaches that they want to leave working with and start working with Lance, but they're scared to tell their coaches they want to leave. So that's what we're talking about. And Um, anyway, I'm gonna let Lance take it away, and then we'll kind of ping pong off each other about this.
Yeah.
But I think it's an interesting topic for sure.
Yeah, it's just like it's something that has come up. So I've done like, as you know, like with Bailey's success, like been getting a lot more consults, kind of how the sport works. And the common theme is people just being not only afraid to have the conversation, but they're worried how their coach is going to react when they tell them they want to leave and go somewhere else. And quite frankly, I think that in itself is the biggest red flag that says a lot more about the coach and the person than it does about the people leaving. I have expressed this to every single one of my clients. If there is ever a point where they feel like they're not getting the service that they are paying for and that they're considering working with someone else or they want to go try something different, feel free to. Feel free to. I'm confident in what I produce. I'm confident in the information that I'm giving. I'm confident in the service that I'm producing. And I think good coaches that are secure within themselves and the service that they produce are not worried about clients leaving because they know eventually it'll come right back, right? This business has a lot of ups and downs, but even though it's an up and down business, if you're good, it should slowly, continuously be trending up, right? Because of retention.
Yeah.
Um, and I just think that's really sad that people are scared to have a conversation with someone because I tell this to all my athletes. If you're going to be a competitor, we're probably going to build a really good relationship. Like coaches that are like, oh, I don't want to have like, that's fine and dandy if that's how you operate. That's not how I'm not going to operate. I'm going to have a real relationship with my clients because I want them to have buy in. And if they have
Yeah.
a real relationship with me, the buy in increases. The buy in increases, the more trust increases, less stress going into the week, and you're a lot more attainable to the protocol at hand, right?
Yeah.
Um, so the fact that people are scared to leave their coach, like it's just kind of pathetic. If and not on them, but pathetic in the sense that we're even having to indulge into this conversation because at the end of the day, like you said, it's a service. I don't care if you're my best friend. If you run a car detailership and you're not detailing my car to the value that I want for what I'm paying,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go somewhere else. And I would just tell my friend, hey man, I love you to death, but for if I'm paying you $300 to detail my car, it's got to be fucking better.
Yeah.
And if I was someone like that, I would want someone to tell me that the service does need to be better for the price point that I'm charging. Like, and in bodybuilding, we talk about it all the time. It's finite. You have a limited window to do this sport. Stop fucking wasting your time because you're worried about what someone who's supposed to be your friend and supposed to be a mentor and someone you look up to and someone that you enjoy working with. The fact that you're afraid to fucking just tell them the truth is kind of sad in itself too. So
Yeah.
it's been a frustrating thing to deal with on the phone because I've looked at every single person and said, you should not be worried or be afraid to tell your coach that this is no longer a good fit.
Yeah.
Just
And
like if you were in a relationship too.
one thing I would say about that too is just like, it definitely speaks to the environment those coaches are creating with those
For
clients
sure.
that they feel like they can't have an honest conversation with them
Yeah.
about it. And honestly too, that they're considering leaving rather than just being like, "Hey man, like if we're going to keep working together, I need to get a little bit more from you."
Yep,
I think at the end of the day, it says a lot more about the coach and the person. But yeah, I totally agree with what Maddox is saying here. Like, you have to be an adult about it, but I do think
for
as
sure.
a client, you have to be able to be an adult and like have that conversation. But I do think it is somewhat on the coaches for the environment they're producing. Um,
Yeah,
and I agree also, Max. If their coach doesn't want the best for them, then I think that that coach is also not being a super great person. Like, honestly,
for
seriously, if
sure.
any of my current athletes on my roster thought that they were going to have a better situation somewhere else, and I just couldn't give them what they need, I'm
Let it
again,
rip.
I'm with Lance on this. I'm confident in what I'm producing. I'm confident with how I coach. If how
Yeah,
I coach isn't for you, that's okay. Like there are
yeah,
other people who might fit your situation better, and I want you to go work with that person that's going to be a better situation. And I want the
100%.
people who fit well with me to work with me. Um, this happened to me with my first coach because he was simply a pro and I just didn't want to let him down. It's never that deep though. Yeah, exactly. I agree.
It's not.
It's not that
Yeah,
deep. And you have this idea that, especially if it's like a coach who has a lot of clients, you have this idea that they're going to be really hurt that you leave. If they have like 60, 70, 80, 100 clients, I'm
they
just going
don't
to be
give a
real
fuck.
with you. Even if you guys are good buddies, they're not going to lose that much sleep over it. Like,
They've got
even
work to
even if
do.
you're really good, to be honest, and
Yeah,
if they have a lot of clients, they're not going to lose that much sleep over it.
no.
They're going to have to move on, just like you're going to have to move on. They're not going to close their doors because you left. You know what I mean?
No,
You just
yeah,
have
we're not shutting down. We still got 20 check-ins to do before bed, so
Yeah.
we
Yep.
got shit to do.
Yep. Absolutely. Ty said, "I'm assuming these are females." I think you said that a couple of them are, but there is one male client who's
No,
interested.
obviously with Bailey doing well, I'm probably going to generate more female leads just with
Sure.
girls seeing that and wanting to obviously look like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I've had 2 dudes consult and 3 girls in the past like 7 days, and it's been the same conversation with every single one of the 5, every single one. And I'm like, why is this a fucking thing?
Yeah.
Why have coaches created such a toxic fucking environment where a grown ass adult is scared to tell them that they're done with that service? It's just ridiculous to me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny too because it seems to be super specific to bodybuilding. Like fucking lifestyle clients never have a problem. Like if they're like, "Oh, I'm kind of
Fuck
done with this,"
no.
they never have a problem
No.
being like, "Hey, I checked my finances this month and like groceries
I'm
went up
out.
a lot and property
Yeah.
taxes and stuff. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I can't afford the coaching right now." But bodybuilders are like paying these coaches 500 plus dollars a month in some cases, not getting the service that they want to be getting, and they're like scared to tell this coach who's charging them $500 a month that, "Hey, I'm thinking about going somewhere else." Like if your coach is able to charge you like, $400 or $500 a month, which like, a lot of us are lucky to be in a situation where we can charge 350, 400, $500 a month. We have enough clients that like, yes, we want to keep you, yes, we want to retain you, but ultimately, if you think a situation's better for you, we're not going to like, our
No.
world's not going to crumble that you're leaving, and yours shouldn't either. It's a
Dude,
business. People change coaches all the time. Think about
bro.
all the pros, how many coaches some of them have been through. Like,
Oh my God. There's a new one every season.
yeah, and I'm not saying you shouldn't have loyalty. That's not what I'm saying at all. But loyalty goes both ways. So if you feel like
Correct.
you're not getting that buy-in from the coach too, then you shouldn't just feel like you need to stay in this situation and keep paying your hard and earned money to not get what you want out of the service.
100%, dude.
But anyway, I want to jump over to talking about you, sir, because you guys had a good little
Oh.
weekend
Yeah,
out
yeah,
in
yeah.
South Carolina.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
came s- like dangerously close to a pro card in
Yeah.
Bailey's first season as a competitive bodybuilder.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
dude, what a great fucking look. Like seriously,
Thank you.
obviously
Thank you.
we know like the standard that's starting to be driven in wellness and bikini, and we can always sit there and like hyper analyze these physiques and talk about what could be better. But to see this on stage for a first time competitor is like it's truly incredible. It's just a really good
Thank
look
you,
for
man.
you guys. And
Yeah.
I think the thing I really liked about this look for you guys is compared to her
RCC
regional
look, it
show.
was much better. Yes.
Yeah. She was much fuller, like, from the back shot, she had much more volume, much more
Yep.
pop. It was a
Yep.
really good look for the national stage, and obviously, I'm super biased, but when I looked at, like, some of the pictures from the live stream, man, I was like from the back especially, I
Trust
was
me.
surprised. I was
Uh-huh.
surprised that she got beat by the
Yep.
and I'm not meaning to be offensive to her, like, seriously,
No,
guys,
no.
not trying to be dick, but I was surprised that the girl in red, beat
Won the
her.
whole thing. Yep.
Yeah, I was
100%.
surprised, but at the same time, you know what? I wasn't there in person. I didn't see the
Yep.
posing, I didn't see the stage presence, I didn't see the whole package come together.
Yep.
Uh, so I can't, sit here and say, but nonetheless, man, extremely good look for you guys.
Yeah.
How did you
Thank you so
find
much.
it? What were your thoughts and feelings? Give me the play by play. How was it, man?
Yeah, so first and foremost, I am going to be transparent. I did think just after going over the stage shots and being there live in person, I did think Bailey took second, and I thought the girl who
Woo,
got
look at
second in
that
the
freaking
green,
ham, dude.
yeah, yeah.
That's
I thought
nasty. Anyway, continue.
I thought the girl in the green that got second won the whole thing. I just thought with overall
Yeah.
density in her posterior
Mhm.
shots and the sides, I was like, green's got one, we've got two, red's got three, and the other one on the far right got four. That's what I had thought. I do see in the side shots where that might have gone wrong. I also can see in the front shots
Is
where
there
they
somewhere
might
I
have
can
like
go
preferred.
see the overall?
Yeah, I
If
can I can send them to you right now,
email them to
actually,
me
if you
quick,
want
and
to
I'll pull them up here.
email them to you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
email them to
yeah.
me.
Okay, yeah. But peaking wise, man, it just was the fact that obviously when we did our first show at the RCC, it's your first go around, right? So
Mhm.
it's one of those things where you may not know how you want to set things up. Obviously, I knew the style of what I kind of wanted to do and approach it with a few mock peaks about 2 weeks out prior with food. But the
Yeah.
fact that we got to go into this second show and instead of doing just maybe like 2 high days and then going with like 3 like dig days, like we only in a matter of 2 weeks did like 2 days we got low post show to kind of obviously drop the excess water. And obviously she had eaten a good amount of food. But then it was right back to the pattern of like 3 high, 2 low, 3 high, 2 low. So we got to feed her a lot more food going into this. And we pulled cardio out a hell of a lot sooner than we did the last go around to give her legs a break. Like just feedback wise, like I'm asking every day, how do your legs feel? Where's your stress at? How's your sleep? How's your pumps been? Right. And the scores just kept getting better and better with how her
Yeah.
legs were feeling as we were getting closer to the show. Because
Yeah.
one, in the 3 day load we did this time around, we used a little bit more fruit on the first day. We
Mm.
also pushed food a little bit higher and specifically in the fats. I noticed that it almost took a little bit longer to get the food to stick the first 3 day load than this one. So we pushed
Yeah, those
carbs
that
about like,
fiber, those fats kinda
yep,
slow it
yep,
down and let it
yep,
stick a little
yep.
bit more, yeah,
Get it to
yep.
stick. Exactly. That was the mentality of maybe we'll do a little bit more banana, do a little bit more fruit. And I wanted more fats. Like the first day loading on fats, I think I had it at like 45, 46. The second go around, we were already at like 70 grams of fat on the first loading day, like in the 90 to 100 plus range on the last 2 days as well going in. So we were just giving more food and more fat going into it.
Mm.
And one thing that I really hammered down on with her that she did a great job, and this is how I got 35,000 steps on show day, was I told her on show day and the day before, I'm like, if you need something, just ask. I need you to sit the fuck down.
Yeah, get the
Um,
inflammation off the legs. But yeah, I kinda
yeah,
wanna break
dude.
this down.
Yeah, zoom
This is
in,
the
let her rip.
overall. So obviously, wellness was a little bit light at this show. We'll just be honest and upfront about that, right?
Yep.
Bailey and one, I believe the girl in pink, right? Both passed
Won
straight
the whole
through
thing. Yep.
because they were the only people in the class. Bailey, regardless of her being the only one in her class, she has a
I
physique
still think would have.
that
Yeah.
deserves to
Yeah.
be in a national show, deserves to be in a national overall. Anybody who
Yep.
says otherwise, I will literally
Would
go to
love to
bat for
see.
my boy, my girl, and say
Yeah.
that you don't know ball. Um,
Yeah.
but regardless, the girl in red won the whole show. Um,
The
you
girl on the
know,
far left. Yeah. Yeah. The
sorry,
shortest one.
pink, far left, won
Yep.
the whole
Yep. Yep.
show.
Yep.
Just breaking this down from the front shot, I can understand like she does have a little bit more fullness to the delts, a little bit
Yep.
more delt cap. But we look at like kind of the condition, how much glute is showing from the front and side here. again, I'm just gonna have to be honest, because like this podcast, like with Lance in the trenches, the people I interview, it all comes from a place of honesty. If anybody ever
Yep.
takes offense to anything we say, I'm sorry, but I'm just being
Yeah. Tough
honest.
shit.
I'm breaking it down
Yeah.
how I'm seeing it. She's not showing volume and fullness to this glute from the side in this front pose. Now I'm not there in person. I'm judging this off pictures, so take this with a grain of salt, guys. When we look at like, the core and like, I would say if I was ranking cores like 1 to 3, I would probably go like it's pretty close between green and red, like 1 and 2. Bailey's probably 3 for core, but the girl who won the show, to me, looking at this picture from a core perspective, is like in fourth, which is interesting because that's a very important part of building out that whole hourglass in wellness. So we talk about like the tightness of this waist, how it's showing, like how it looks too from a definition perspective. I would have her in fourth from that perspective. She maybe is, I would have from a like a delt arm and fullness, like roundness perspective. The girl in red maybe actually almost has a little bit too much delt for
I
wellness.
think she didn't pose into that shot as well as she should have either.
Um, and the girl in the green probably has like the best combination of like where I would say like her delts and arms are
She
at for
was
wellness.
the
Uh,
most impressive by far.
yes,
Yeah.
this to me in this front shot, I'm going I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4. So I do still have Bailey in third in the front shot, but I find it hard to believe that the girl who won the show, to me, takes fourth in the front shot,
Yeah.
which is interesting. We go to
She
the
wins this
side.
shot for sure. She wins this shot for sure. I'll say
Yes,
that
we
first.
go to the
She wins this
side. This
shot
is
by
where
a mile.
I can understand.
This is the separator in the shots. Yeah.
This is where I can understand the placings a little bit more, but I would still say between her and Green, it's not like a clear
Not too
slam
far
dunk
off.
for
Nope. And then
her.
when you get to the back shot, you're going to really
Yeah.
have a question mark.
And then the back
This is
shot's where
where
I
I
get
have
really
my questions.
confused. Because in
This
this
is where
back
I
shot,
also
like guys, let's just be real. Like the back shot in wellness is like
is everything.
it's the most important shot. And
Yeah.
I'm going in the shot all day. I'm going
Green,
1, 2,
blue.
3,
Yep.
4.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Um, her
Said the same
glutes,
thing.
like she doesn't have glutes. Like
So in her video, if you get a chance to see it online, she does. It's
okay,
just that you can't see that tie-in as well with the hamstring as you do with the middle
sure,
two. That was
sure.
my only thing.
Yeah. Yeah, like her tie-ins are not dug out. Right.
It's not as defined, yeah.
Yeah.
And
But
Green is
anyway,
just a
nonetheless,
monster in that shot.
we'll stop complaining because I don't want to sound like bear coaches. Like we're not. We're just
No,
having an
no, no,
objective
but
conversation
I mean, the
about it.
truth is, too, dude, me and Lacey have had conversations. I had conversations with Liana, and all three of us have questions. And again, everything we're saying is not to take away from the winner. That girl looked fucking incredible in person. That side shot is insanely
Yep.
impressive. She
Great
she
side
has
shot.
great she
Great
has
side.
incredible structure. She had a great waistline. She's gonna do damage in the wellness division if she wants to with her size, frame, and her setup. She's built for it.
Yeah.
But I did transparently have it Green 1, Bailey 2, her 3, and the other girl in 4. But again, I'm not a judge. I don't have enough information. Maybe I was a little bit too further away in the audience, but overall, dude,
Well,
we
it
brought
does show how it
yeah,
does not always translate in photos because looking at
yeah,
the photos, I had her in fourth. And you're like, no, like in person, she was more impressive than she comes across in
very,
those pictures.
very, very.
So it's interesting, right? But anyway, nonetheless, Bailey's first season to almost
Yeah,
like come that close at a sniff at a pro card is crazy.
yeah,
We all know she's gonna get it. It's just a matter of time for her.
yeah,
It's just a matter of one off season probably.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
she'll get it. So it's not a big deal. But dude, we should get into some questions because we have some good questions in the chat,
Oh
which I
yeah, let's
love.
let it rip, dude.
That's
Let it
a
rip.
big part of the reason why I do still want to keep doing this podcast live, guys, is just like, this engagement. So
Yeah,
let's prioritize what's in the chat right now
yeah.
because
Let's get to it.
the question box, honestly, I didn't get a ton of questions in the question box. I want to prioritize you people who are actually tuning in.
I
So
got a
let's
couple
see.
myself.
Favorite health supplements for bodybuilders. I know it's personal and lab work dependent, but curious to hear the conversation. Yeah, so I would say just like off the rip, I'm a big fan of like kind of what I would call like our core our core group for bodybuilders. If you're an enhanced bodybuilder, you're taking PEDs, like, obviously, it's dependent on lab work, but it's probably a good idea to be taking, like, citrus
Omega
bergamot
3.
or red yeast rice. In
Yep.
some cases, both, but most of the time, I'm going with one or the other. Um, obviously, omega-3s, I think,
Omega
like, your
3.
N-acetylcysteine to,
Yep.
help with, like, the liver and glutathione production and, like,
I love
inflammation.
CoQ10 if you're a male
CoQ10.
enhanced.
Yep.
Yep. And you
Um
compare that with PQQ if you want to. Um,
Nattokinase, huge
yep.
fan of high dose nattokinase. Like, like, this is something
Especially
that
if you're on
you'll
like
hear Joe
PQ.
say it, you'll hear Tom say it, you'll hear, Alex
Yeah.
say it. Most of
Yeah.
you are not taking enough nattokinase. Like, you're taking, like,
No.
4,000 FUs and you think that's gonna be enough?
10
Jack
to
that shit
12.
up. I
10
take
to 12, baby.
I take 6,000 in the morning and 6,000 at night, both on like, I take it on an empty stomach in the morning before fasted
Yep.
cardio, and then I take another 6,000 before I go to bed. It's the last thing that goes in my mouth before I go hit the pillow.
Yep.
So, nattokinase,
I
curcumin,
think
um,
magnesium is one that I'm going to throw in there as like a
magnesium.
non-negotiable for a lot of different pathways.
Yep. A lot of different pathways and also, like, just, like, hydration, electrolyte
Yep.
balance. I would say those are some really good ones. That's probably, like, the main stuff. I think creatine's a good idea. I don't think it's as much of, like, one that I'm, like, from a health perspective for bodybuilders, but I think, honestly, I'm a bigger fan of it for the cognitive benefits. Yeah. Like, I take, like, 20 grams a day, and I notice a difference when I don't
Yeah.
take it in how sharp
When
I
I
feel.
bumped it,
Yeah.
when I bumped that shit from like Devo was telling us how he was doing 20 for a bit when I was on 10. And
Yeah.
then I did 20 for a while and I was like, all right, this is weirdly noticeable.
Yeah. 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 I also really notice it, like, if I sleep really bad, sometimes I'll take 30, and I feel better on days when I sleep poorly if I take 30 versus 20. Um,
Really?
yeah, yeah, it's really cool. I really notice a good benefit with that. Um, I think,
I
with,
like
like, bodybuilding, obviously, water retention, things like that is pertinent, so, like, taurine for some people can be a really good idea. Um
especially if you're on growth hormone, that's a great
Mhm.
one to throw in there.
Yep, 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 and also too, if, like, you're having, like, growth hormone mediated water retention, you have to take a lot more taurine than you think. Like, some people will
Yeah.
take, like a gram or whatever.
I do
I
like
I
3 to
can't
4 with
remember
some of my guys that are on growth.
I can't remember what is all I know because I take scoops of it, so I don't know, is that one in milligrams or grams? I can't remember.
I do like 3 to 4 grams for
Yeah,
guys that are on
yeah, it's
higher
grams,
dosage
okay. I was trying to
of
remember if
fucking
each
that.
scoop that
Yeah.
I take is a gram, I think it's a gram. So I do like 3 or 4 grams in the morning and then another 2
Same.
or 3 at night, personally.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
Say less.
yep, because I get really crampy on growth hormone, like, I get a lot of muscle cramps on growth hormone.
My hands just go numb all the time.
Yeah. Yep, it helps with that for me. Um, but yeah, dude, I think like the basic core, health supplements for bodybuilders, like, if I had to name 5, like, if I had to just give you 5, I'd say citrus bergamot,
Okay.
N-acetylcysteine, curcumin,
Yep.
um, I'm talking strictly health supplements here, guys,
Yep.
nattokinase,
Yep.
and,
This is your top 5?
yeah, maybe fish oil, like high dose fish
Yep.
oil,
Yep.
if I had to pick just 5. What about
I
you?
was gonna say I'd probably really similar. I would go a really high quality omega 3. I'm gonna probably go like NAC as well. I really like CoQ10 for
That's a
cardiovascular and
good
heart
one, that's a good
reasons.
shout.
I'm a really big fan of that one. It's like a non-negotiable.
Yeah, I take it
Um,
twice a day. Mm,
Yeah, the Meg Bliss I think is just essential. I think everyone's stressed the fuck out, and it's just going to help with
yeah.
sleep pattern. And then finally, I'm trying to think. I'd probably go Citrusburg as well if you're going to be on the
Mm,
enhanced side.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that was a good topic. Thanks for that question.
That's a great question. That's
That's
a
a great
great
question.
question.
What's your thoughts on all the new trending peptides? Any you actually added into the arsenal that for sure moved the needle in health performance fat loss?
I think we've talked about it a lot with you. So the few that I really like that I've utilized is I really like Slew, especially in a
Yep,
fat loss phase. I think
I
it
do
pairs
too.
really nice with Clen as something that you don't need to something to like increase elevated heart rate or anything like
Yeah, I
that.
think a lot of people just
Um,
aren't running enough of it. to notice
Correct.
the
Correct.
benefits.
100%. Slew is like I'm a big fan of that one, and then the only other one that I personally really like is I like I'm trying to think, the GHK for like the overall like hair, skin, and nails
Dude,
benefit.
so my client, that's great. That's a great topic. My client Tyler, who's in prep, um, he had like some skin in some areas that he wanted to like tighten up a little. It wasn't super noticeable. Like
Yeah.
it's more like a for him.
Nitpicky thing.
He was
Yeah.
noticeable, and I was like, dude, we could try like GHKCU, and we worked up from
Hmm.
one one like
Milligram.
from is it milligram? I haven't used it in a while. It's milligram, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, we worked up from 1 milligram daily to like 5 injected in the sites that
Yep.
he
Yep.
wanted the skin to tighten, and then we did topical on top of it too, and it
Hmm.
literally worked. Like, his skin literally, like, shrunk
Tighten
as
up.
he's gotten
Yeah.
leaner. Because I was like, "It's perfect timing, he's in prep." So I hope he doesn't care about me sharing that, but,
Oh no,
it
dude.
the it worked, so it was really cool, because again, it was not something that other people would really notice, but he definitely felt like it was something
Yeah.
he wanted. He just asked me, he's like, "Is there anything we can do about this?" I was like, "Actually, I've heard some good things with
Yeah.
GHKCU. Let's run it." Yeah. Anyway,
It's something, yeah, no, it's something that it's crazy you bring that up too, because my friend Courtney, shout out to her, she got second in bikini at Junior USA's this weekend as well. She's talked to me about how people that used to be like kind of overweight that are getting into like contest prep shape that might have a little bit of extra skin, utilizing a higher dosage of that along with the
yeah,
topical, she actually has seen some improvements with that as well. So if you're
yeah,
someone that used to be kind of heavier and you're worried about that, that is something you can utilize and you can kind of get aggressive. So I've talked to she told me that she talked to one of her mentors, I think Mike White, where he actually likes to get kind of higher dosed with that stuff for like in a quick and aggressive approach if you're someone that's dealing with that.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I just checked Tyler's sheet. Yeah, we worked up from we started at like 1 milligram and we built all the way up to 5 milligrams a day of
Yeah.
GHKCU.
I've seen protocols with like 10
Injected
to
in those
20
areas.
to be honest.
Oh, you've seen people go that high?
Yeah, for like short bursts if it's something that they're kind of worried about.
Mm.
Yeah. I've seen
Well,
like
even
10 to
working up
15
to
to 20.
5 daily, we saw a
Hmm.
huge benefit. Like,
Yeah.
he literally, like, in that same area has, like, veins and shit running through it now, and, like, you
Yeah.
can see it's like it's really cool. Really cool.
It's something that I've wanted to try for like quick acne protocols too, with like some people that just might have a little bit of an acne
Yeah,
flare up from like androgen exposure. It is
it
something
does
that
help a
like I
lot.
have actually, yeah, it's something I've started to throw in with people as well.
Um So peptides that I'm utilizing with people right now, I have some females in contest prep that like we didn't want to jump into like some of the because we're so far out from the show, we didn't want to jump into like Clen yet and stuff like that. And to like we're kind of saving some of that stuff to use like because they're still like 25 weeks out plus show.
Yeah.
So utilizing some slew and some Motzi, I really like those two together. If you're
Yeah.
gonna run Slew and Motzi together for fat loss, I would definitely advise running a high quality urolithin A alongside it as well. Because one of the things that can happen is when you're driving, a lot of like that a lot of that like mitochondrial upregulation is you can get uh some dysfunction within that mitochondria producing like sorry, like free radicals and stuff. So urolithin A, from my understanding, basically helps your like mitochondria repair itself so that you're getting some of that repair while you're also driving that mitochondrial function forward. So, I really like that alongside it. But I'm a big fan of the mitochondria stuff. I notice a huge difference for myself right now. I'm running a fat loss phase. I'm not running any clen, no thyroid. I'm literally just running slew, L-carnitine, and like urolithin A and some other like PQQ, NMN, just like some over the counter stuff. And I've seen really, really good results from running high dose slew. Um, so I really like those. Obviously, I think Retta and the GLPs have their place for sure. I'm using TERS myself right now. Been using Retta in some of my preps with my clients. And honestly, I think as long as you make a decision early, if it affects their digestion to a point where it needs to be pulled out, like 4 or 5 weeks from the show, as long as you do that, I don't think it's going to affect people's ability to peak. I think the mistake a lot of people are making is they're running 2-3 milligrams of it all the way into peak week and then having trouble actually filling up without distending their waist and with actually getting the food to stick.
Yeah.
So as long as you avoid that, I think it definitely has its place in contest prep. Um, but yeah, those are some of the ones I've been using. I'm a really big fan of like thymosin as well. I use it like when I'm starting to get sick because my son gets me sick a lot, but yeah, I like a lot of them. I think that the reason that some of like the more science-based, if you will, community stays away from them is just because we don't have as much research on it. But what I always remind people too is I'm like, a lot of the steroids we use we
We
don't
don't
have a
have
ton of
long-term usage on that either.
long-term in
Yeah.
human research in.
Yeah.
So this is the Wild West, people. So you kind of get to decide as a person where you draw the line, and if you want to draw the line at peptides, absolutely. I always tell my clients before we put them in, I say, hey, understand this peptide might not have a lot of in-human research. We only have like
Yep.
surrogate model research. Understand there might be consequences of using this that we aren't aware of at this time. And if they say, yeah, I don't really want to use it, then I'm like, okay, that's totally fine. We don't need to use it. So I
Yeah.
just always kind of go that route. But I definitely like to utilize them and I utilize them on myself. I'll hit this follow-up question. What range of SLU do you advise? Hypothetically, of course. Hypothetically, I won't tell you what I advise. It's different for the person. Like, for example, I have one client running it right now and they're using 10 milligrams. Hypothetically, uh, that there is a bodybuilding coach wearing a hat with antlers on it. Um, and he is running close to 200 milligrams, like 200, 180, 200 milligrams of SLU every day. Right now, hypothetically, this bodybuilding coach with glasses, a beard, wearing a blue shirt and a white hat, is taking 100 milligrams of SLU pre-fasted cardio in the morning, and then taking 20 milligrams prior to each meal the rest of the day, and it comes out to 180. And sometimes, if he's feeling a little bit spicy before he goes to the gym for his workout, instead of taking just 20 with that meal, he'll take 40. So sometimes it's 200, sometimes it's like 180. So hypothetically, of course. Um, okay. And hypothetically, he's seeing very good results with his body composition, not running any other fat burners. Um, okay. Of course, some personal updates as well, food subs, fun stuff. Yeah. Yeah. What are you doing right now, Lance? You just started blasting again, right?
Yeah, we're just on what? So last week was the first week, so we're on 600 tests, 200 EQ, and then we just brought the growth to 6 units before bed. So pretty basic
Okay.
little stack right now, but it's my favorite one to run. We did EQ for the first go around last time. We did learn that it did get my E2 down pretty aggressively, which is crazy because I'm
Yeah,
always a
I had some
higher
updates on that.
aromatizer. Yeah, so I'm excited. I think we're probably just gonna keep the EQ in that 2 to 300 range, and I think we're just gonna work the test up higher. Like I would like to see it transparently. I'm not a big guy, but like I would like to get my test somewhere from like 750 to 900 milligrams this go around. I really would. Yeah, 1 gram would be cool too. I'll sweet talk Alex maybe. I don't think he'll be against it. But we are gonna throw in I do think we're probably going to kickstart this now just with the travel week last week. I do think we're going to throw in like 25 milligrams of Anavar pre-workout for like the first 4 to 6 weeks and then give that
Did
a
he
pull.
veto the T-ball?
I haven't brought it up yet, but I just have Anavar on hand. I just have Anavar on hand, so I think he wants to just get rocking. But I was gonna message him tomorrow and be like, "So, what are your thoughts on T-ball?" Because I got one of my guys on it right now. Because, like I said, Lacey said it's one of her favorite drugs to kickstart a cycle and end a cycle. And Mitch has been on it for like a week and a half, 2 weeks, and he's like, "Bro, my training performance right now is unfucking
I've
real."
never used it with anybody, so I wouldn't really have any I wouldn't have any
This
feedback
is
to give you, but
This is my first go around with him on it, dude, and he's like visually improving already in the
yeah,
first
he looks
week.
big, dude.
Dude, he's like, so we started him at 250, got him down to like 239. Then we bulked up to 270. Then we cleaned up to 254 and got some labs done. Let him take about a 12-week break, enjoy some time with his daughter and his wife, just clean things up a little bit. And we just threw it in, dude. And he's already went from 261 to 266 and a half. Obviously, for some of that's some water weight from the
Mm,
growth being administered at a
yeah,
higher dosage again. But like, dude, he still has a 6 pack and he's veined the fuck out at 266.
yeah,
Like,
hell yeah, hell yeah,
it's working
yeah,
great.
yeah. I'm not. I'm becoming more open to it just because with contest prep, I'm gonna be honest. Like I don't see the quite to the level of health metric skewing from oral use that is kind of touted within like the safer use kind of community. So I'm
Mhm.
becoming more open to it. I haven't really done it a ton with
Same.
people, but I think for short bursts it has its place. I haven't used T-ball with anyone, that's for sure. Um but yeah, no, that's cool. For me right now, I am rocking still 525 test and 300 EQ weekly, and just 3 units of growth hormone right now. I'm just trying to keep my variables kind of simple right now. You know, kind of start from the lowest baseline because I was off for so long. Obviously, I would love to run a lot more growth than that, but I just don't want too much muddiness with like my
Yeah.
variables going into the summer. Um so just that with the growth. And then I'm still doing a little bit of a cleanup here. I'll probably be in a deficit for maybe 2, 3 more weeks here. And I'm running,
Nice.
hypothetically, I'm running, you know, a couple 100 milligrams of SLU a
Yeah. Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Um, and and then because I'm a high aromatizer and I'm estrogenic as hell, I'm doing a milligram of Arimidex every other day. Now, that being said, my
Okay.
update is I just got labs, and so far everything that's come back has come back really good. EQ,
Nice.
higher tests than I've ran in the past, which because I'm a high aromatizer and I used to run just like master on and would run no test. Um, my hematocrit was like 50, my red blood cells were like 16, so like I'm in the
Great
normal
spot.
range with all that stuff.
Yeah.
So that's all great. But what was interesting is my estradiol regular test came back less than 30. So it didn't give a value because it was less than 30. It was that range. But I have an ultra
Wild.
sensitive test. I just don't have the ultra sensitive value back yet. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
see what it is when it comes back. If it's like I have a sneaking suspicion it's gonna be kind of low. My back's been kind of achy a little bit
Yeah.
and stuff. Joints have been
Getting that
sore.
like
Yeah.
low E2 side effects. Yeah. It's the
So
first thing
I'm
I noticed
kind
with my
of playing
joints.
with two things. I'm kind of like, well, if my blood work's really good and it's low, maybe instead of removing the AI or tapering the AI, I might just put in 100 milligrams of NPP. Um, or I'll bring the AI down to like half a milligram every other day. And then if it's still, if I still feel like I could go lower, then I might remove it entirely because
Yeah.
the thing is I started this cycle about 5 weeks ago, so EQ is kind of just starting to
Just
do
now
something,
saturating. Yeah.
so it could just keep going lower, um, and so I might end up what I might do is I might just add 100 milligrams of NPP, keep the AI where it is, and if I still feel like in, like, 3 or 4 weeks that my E2 is still trending low,
Bump
I
the test
might
too.
just pull the AI at that point and only
Yeah.
reintroduce it if I start encountering like some, you know, some estrogenic symptoms. So that's kind of my game plan. That's what I'm doing right now. Blood work, like I said, I have over half of it back and everything is phenomenal in a phenomenal
Fuck yeah.
spot so far. So very happy with that. Any other questions we got in the chat? Let's see here. Oh, Ty said he was just asking because he's seen it more common with female clients that they're scared to leave their coach because they don't know how they're going to react. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
interesting. I do wonder if sometimes it's like female clients working with male coaches, kind of like maybe some like weird power dynamics there and stuff like that. I don't know, but I could
It's
see
weird.
how that could occur. But at the end of the day, I think it again, it just comes back to what me and Lance said. Like, you're paying for a service. If you're not getting the service you need, I don't care who they
Bail.
are. You know,
Bail.
take your business somewhere else. And that could, like if you're one of our clients listening and you feel like me and Lance aren't giving you the service you need, by all means, you know, it's business. It's business. It doesn't
Yeah.
mean we don't love you. It doesn't mean we don't wish you the best. But if you're not getting what you need from us, I wouldn't want you to. I always tell people this. I want you to work with me because you genuinely want to be here.
Want to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
So anyway, I think we kind of buried that topic. You said you got a couple questions on the
Yeah,
month?
my girl Sammy shot me over two good ones. They're kind of like more insightful ones, which
Hmm.
I do like those. So I actually really like this one. So what did success look like to you 5 years ago, and what does it look like now?
Man, that's a good question. I think
It's a great
5 years
question.
ago, success to me was like I think I was really caught up on the idea of, like, when I was younger, like, being someone, and I
Yeah.
know it sounds super weird and super cliche, but, like,
No, it doesn't.
you know, I just, like, I wanted to live, like, an interesting life, and as I got older, now I just want to live a life that I like and be someone I like. Be someone that I get up and look in the mirror and I like who I am in the morning, and I think I'm starting to get there now at this point.
It's a great answer.
And I think for me, a lot more of like what I wanted in life was dictated on what other people would think of me, like, oh, look at what he's doing. That's so cool. Whereas now it's more like self kind of like actualization. Like, how do I feel about myself? How do I
Yeah.
feel about my life? And I think that that might happen for a lot of people. Maybe it's just a maturity thing. But like, we grew up in a social media age. And so I think we maybe all kind of go through this phase where like I want to do something that makes other people like look at me and think, "Oh wow." And then I'm glad that I'm not in that phase of life anymore because that's just a very miserable way to live life to care
Yeah.
so much about what other people think.
100%. That's a great answer, dude. Um, Success to me 5 years ago, transparently, was just trying to figure out what the hell I was gonna do. I was personal training. I've told this story, I was working multiple jobs, so just wondering if things were just gonna start to work out or click. Like that was kind of my thing, is I was super insecure with like who I was, because I don't know if this is like a just maybe it's probably not just a male thing, but like for at least for me, like I didn't feel secure in who I was because I really didn't feel like I knew who I was. Like, not
Mhm.
that our careers dictate who we are, but I'm very big on like what I do. Like, my passion is like a very big piece of who
Yeah.
I am. Like, I like if someone's like, oh, like, you're just a bodybuilding coach on the side. No, like, I am a bodybuilding coach. Like, I am a trainer. That is my, like, a very large portion of my identity. Like, who I am outside of that, I just try to be like a really fun loving person, but like that is me. Like I want that to be my day to day. So success to me now is really just ultimately what I'm doing tomorrow. And that's just or what I'll be doing in the next week. And that's just getting to wake up and do something that I'm really passionate about every day. That is success to me, is the fact that I'm going to get to wake up and do something that makes me happy, that really brings me fulfillment, that really brings me joy. And I think that's really been a big piece of me becoming a better person, is like I kind of was a piece of shit in my early 20s because I was an insecure person that talked and created issues and created drama. And now I'm like, I just want to do my job. I just want to do my job, and I want to do it at a very high level. And I want to spend time with the people that really make me happy. And I've really found that crew with you and Devo and Nick and my close friends and Tom. And I like, you know what I mean? Like you just become more secure in yourself. So I want to keep doing what I'm doing. Like success to me is just producing really great results and spending a lot of time with the people I care about.
Yeah. I can't imagine you being a piece of shit ever. So I assume that there's maybe a bit of an exaggeration, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah. No, I'm very secure in who I am, for I mean not the first time, but like even just this weekend, like you know how it is, dude, getting some of those big wins, there's a lot of internal validation that
Oh,
comes
for
from like
sure.
good placings and doing
Anybody
good
who
things.
pretends
And
like that doesn't matter to you is
it's
lying.
huge, like, I feel like it should matter to you if you really care about this. Like, it matters to both of us like fucking crazy, bro. Like, because we have high standards for ourselves, and if we're gonna talk the talk, we want to walk the walk. And when you don't really get a chance to produce someone to walk the walk, there's always that little bit of like insecurity of like, am I good at this? Should I be doing this? Like, is this like the route I am meant to go? So, um just being really like good with who I am as a person has really allowed me to kind of align myself recently.
Thank you for watching, Corey. We'll catch you later, man. Yeah. No, I think that that's a super true statement. I think even coaches, that's a bit old hat for too. Like we were kind of talking about how like Alex is like, like when you've been you at a certain point you've been at all these and stuff like that.
Hundreds of them,
But
yeah.
he'd be lying if he said it still doesn't make it worthwhile
Oh, he
when his
still
client
loves it.
still
Yeah.
wins. He loves it. He loves to win. We all love to win. We all love to see a peak come together. And I think as coaches, one thing I was talking to Lauren about today too, just like as I'm prepping more people, I'm kind of learning that the like, different types of bodies and stuff. Like I got to do like some data collection with Connor this weekend. He came and stayed with me for a night and we did some data collection. And it's so interesting because I did the same thing with Kyle in his prep and just like how different their bodies are and how they respond to things. And like, you know, Connor's strength is like he's just bubbly and round and full. He's probably like, I'll just be honest, and like, me guys, I'm honest, I say the truth. It doesn't matter whether it makes people feel good or not. My clients know this about me too. I just say the truth. Like Connor will not be as peeled as Kyle on stage, but his body just doesn't, he doesn't have that same body type that
Hmm.
gets like dry and grainy like that. But
Yep.
his strengths are in different areas. He's
Hmm.
super round and full and bubbly. And so just getting to learn different body. I was talking to Lauren and I was like, man, I'm so glad he came up. Not only was it fun because he's a great kid and he works hard as fuck. Like this kid is grinding. And guys,
Yeah.
like I don't mean for lack of trying. Like this kid is doing I'll just be honest, is it takes what it takes. He's doing an hour of cardio. He's eating less than 2,000 calories. Fat burners are as high as I'm comfortable taking them, being 4 and 6 weeks out from a show and all these things. He's grinding his ass off. So none of that's for a lack of trying. But what I was telling Lauren is I was like, I'm so glad he came up this weekend because I was starting to second guess myself if I was doing something wrong because but I think I was painting him with the brush of like some of my other clients and how their check-ins look and like, where I expected them to be in terms of conditioning at
Yeah.
this point.
Yeah.
And so I got to see him in person. I'm like, man, like he's in a really good spot for his physique. And so
Yeah.
I think the idea that we don't get more confident, the more swings at the plate we get at this is stupid. Like
Correct.
nobody walks into this peaking their first client is like, "Yep, I know exactly what I'm doing and you all suck."
Yeah. You're full of
Nobody
shit. You're full of shit.
yeah. You learn in each time you see a peak come together, each time you see an athlete, because we're even as coaches, we're going through the roller coaster too. Someone's 2 weeks out and we start looking at your check-in pictures a little bit too long and we're like, oh, did I make the right decision?
Am I doing
You know,
everything right? Yeah.
it doesn't
100%.
matter. I don't think it matters how many times you do this. You're
No.
always gonna have that little voice in your head, but I think it
Like, what
does
if?
get
Yeah.
quieter the more
For
times
sure.
you deliver. You
Yeah,
know?
and that and the more time you get to spend with your athlete, right? Like that's why
Yeah.
I'm so big on like if you work with someone you like, fucking stick with it if you're making results cuz the longer we get to work with you guys, the more we get to understand things. And obviously no peak is going to be the same with different
Yeah.
physiques and more muscle and utilizing different tools, but it helps. It sure as fuck doesn't hurt you. Like that
Yeah.
second go around with Bailey, I felt a hell of a lot more comfortable peeking her than the first time around.
Oh, for
I
sure.
was like, I know exactly what I want to do this go around.
I mean,
Obviously, I'm still gonna run shit
dude,
by Lacey, but like I knew
yeah.
what I wanted to do.
I told Kyle right after his prep for Detroit, I'm like, dude, you're never doing a 20-week prep again in your life. I can get you peeled in 10 weeks. Like, you're never doing a 20-week prep again in your life. But I wouldn't
Yep,
know that if I didn't prep him. You know,
100%.
I wouldn't know that. And so
Even
you
with my
learn
client
every
Sam,
time.
same thing, same
Yeah.
thing. Yeah,
But I do
no,
want
dude,
to
and it's
share this since I
oh
was
no, yeah, you're good.
talking about him anyway. So I'm
Pull 'em
sure
up.
people saw it on Instagram, but this is Connor who I was talking about. And I just want to show you guys like the difference. Like when you're working with different physiques, they're just very different. You know, we look at like let's go back here to when Kyle and I were doing data collection prior to the show. So I'm trying to find the check-ins that he was in my house for. There may be on his page. Oh, here we go. So this was the week we were doing data collection. This is like 2 weeks out from Detroit. So, like, just like we look at the difference in physique, like Kyle's just gets very dry. This was actually, you know, 2 weeks out from the show. I think this was when we started prep around like
Yep.
16 weeks out. So, you know, he obviously gets in shape very, very quick. And like his food, like the lowest it ever got was like just under 3K on dig days. And I was still refeeding him like every, 3 or 4 days
That's
most of the time.
fucking crazy.
And then, but we have someone like Connor who's been like, she's been on like 1,700 calories for 2 weeks straight at this point, hour
It's the
cardio,
reality of
but
it.
different style of physique. He's just very round, very full, very bubbly, you know. And so the way I'm going to have to peak Connor is going to be completely different than the way I'm going to peak Kyle. But the only way I'm going to learn how to work with a body type like Connor's is by working with it. And,
Yeah.
probably the first time I peak him, we're going to learn things that I'm going to be like, next time we peak, I'm going to do that differently. It doesn't mean it won't be a good peak, but it does mean that we'll have room to improve. And if
Yeah.
you have, and like, honestly, I don't really care who your coach is. If there's not like room to improve when they're working with you for the first time or even the second time or the third time, I question whether they're really trying and looking for the areas to improve
I
because
was
there's
gonna say
always
that,
something
or
to
are you
improve.
even paying attention?
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you're keeping a watchful eye, you start to pick up on certain trends after certain meals,
Yeah.
after certain water, after certain sodium. Like you should be noticing, like if you do have a watchful eye on your client, you can just see things and just know
Yeah.
what's happening.
Yeah. Like yesterday when I was putting food, so I put a decent bit of food in Connor. And it was interesting because what I found for him is I was like, so for Kyle, and some of my other clients that I've peaked, we're doing like full water up until like the Friday before the show. Like, seriously,
Oh
like, I
yeah.
think Kyle's water was 300 ounces the day before the show on the Friday before the show. And he was dry as a bone the next day. We only pulled it back a little bit on show day just because we just didn't need as much at that point. For Connor, I noticed yesterday, I'm like, hey dude, like let's pull your water back a little bit with the meals this morning. When I was looking at him again this morning, we were putting some food in because I was like, I feel like the water kind of progressed the look a little bit like softer, a little bit quicker, and it ended up being a lot better look with some of those meals today with pulling that water back. For other people, that water is really going to benefit them. It's going to go all to the right places. For some people, it's gonna spill them. So it's just like
Yeah.
you're always learning with these bodies and different bodies. So yeah, I think that was a great tangent because some people see you put an athlete on a national stage, they look really good, they do really well, and they probably just assume like you have this magic formula that's like this
Yeah,
is
it's
just
like
you come to
no,
me for the formula or whatever. It's like,
no.
no, like, dude, this is a process. We need to learn your body, you know. It could take more than one peak for us to really nail it. That's why I love if there's not like a really compelling reason for someone to be one and done. I'm really a big fan of 2, 3 show seasons so you can
Correct.
really get a couple
Correct.
cracks at
Yeah.
it.
Same. Same.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you have another good question?
She had. Let's see here. Sammy had two good ones. Both are like happiness ones. So, looking back, what challenge are you most grateful for?
Honestly, dude, I'm grateful for not being successful in coaching like right
Yeah.
away in any sense. I'm grateful it took the amount of time to are there times the last 6 years, uh, 6, 7 years that I wished that I had a slew of clients and I was full-time coaching? Absolutely. But I'm glad it didn't happen for me because what I didn't know then that I know now was I wasn't ready for that, you know?
Same. Oh my God, dude. You took the words literally right out of my mouth on that one. There were so many times, dude, even like when I started to prep Bailey, I was like, dude, I'm like, you gotta have this shit down pat. Like you better figure some stuff the fuck out like now. So that like when she gets there, you're ready to guide her across the finish line. Um, Not to take the exact same answer that you gave, but dude, same. Like
Mm.
that's why you saw me make that video walking around South Carolina. Like transparently, I got kind of emotional walking back because
Yeah.
Alex gave me a ring after I left Bailey's room with her parents and everything, because they took us all out to dinner, which was great. And I was just kind of walking back, dude. And I remember I looked across the water and I was walking back and I was like, man, dude, would you have ever guessed, even a year ago, that this is where you'd be right now, doing what you're doing, celebrating what you're celebrating? And the answer was no, dude. Like, even a year ago, like, Like it was funny because it's what you texted me, and I really leaned in on what you texted me. And it was this delusional belief that you are meant to be exactly where you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
And I really soaked that in. So thank you for sending me that first and foremost. But
Yeah.
it's true, dude. Like you have to really envision yourself in the positions that you are. But when you have to grind for fucking 6, 7, 8 years, it creates this appreciation where like I literally was having a little bit of a panic earlier in the week, like kind of going through the numbers of the cost of the transition of leaving my full-time job. And I was like, dude, I was like, you know who you are. Every time I have been exposed to a higher quality of life and I have gotten even a nibble of what it tastes like, my brain rewires completely to you can never lose this
Yeah.
because you've worked so hard to get to this outcome. You can't bear the idea of going backwards.
Well,
And
and
when you've been through the trenches, it really creates that.
yeah, and I think it's kind of two parts, exactly how you said it. I think it's important that it took us so long to get here because now we've earned the right to have that second part, which is that delusional belief, because we're like,
Yeah.
we have done what it takes to get here.
So much
So
work.
believing that we're meant to be here now and this is meant to be happening for us, like, for you and I, like, really, it's been just like the last year that coaching has really
Yeah.
taken off for us.
Yeah.
And you know, um, we earn that, but now we have to also be delusionally
Continue.
confident in our ability, because doubting yourself
Yep.
is not going to keep you going in that direction now
Doesn't
that you
do
have
anything.
it. But yeah, no, that's a great answer. And I think we're both like, that's why I think we've connected so quickly, is just because we're kind of cut from the same cloth in this, that
100%.
we had to suffer to get here um a lot. Well, dude, we've put in an hour already. I just want to rapid fire some of the questions I got because I don't want to miss on some of these people. So let's just rapid fire this one.
Yeah.
Thoughts on the new football division? So I'm just gonna say in short, I don't really care. Like, add more
Yeah.
divisions. It's just more people to put on stage. If you're a fit model athlete and you're like looking for a coach and you're like, man, I really want to compete in fit model, come over. Let's go fucking win some fit model shows. Fuck it. Like,
Let's figure it
seriously,
out.
I don't care. People said the same thing about bikini when it got made. Like, what the hell is this? This isn't like bodybuilding or whatever. I don't care. If you want to go do a fit model show and you're looking for a coach, come on over. Let's go win some fit
Yeah.
model shows.
I'll figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
and I also tell people too, we can't sit here, regardless if you like the division or not, regardless if you like the posing, the muscle standards. You can't sit here as an advocate for the sport of bodybuilding and bitch for the prizes to become with more money. You can't bitch
Yeah.
for bigger trophies. You can't bitch for bigger venues. You can't ask the NPC to do all these amazing things and not expect them to try to figure out how to generate more revenue.
Yeah, it's a
And
business.
also, yes, and it's a great barrier of entry to
Mhm.
get into the other divisions. A
Absolutely.
lot of those girls will do that for probably a year or two and then go to bikini and go
Yeah.
give that a shot. And same thing with bikini girls. They might do one show in bikini and be like, man, I really would like to do a 2 to 3 year off season and try to see if I can develop a wellness frame. Same thing with men's physique guys. People say the same shit about them. How many times have we seen guys like Logan Franklin, Sadiq Hadzovic, guys like that go from men's physique and then as they're building towards classic, make that swap.
Well,
So
and
it's
dude, bikini and men's physique at the amateur level that we're coaching at right now, because like neither of us have pros or whatever, they're two of my favorite divisions to
I
coach
love men's
right now.
physique and
It's
bikini.
fun.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's
It's
different.
fun. Men's
Like,
physique's sick.
obviously, I love getting like a big freaking framed bodybuilder and stuff like that, of course. But I really love like bikini and men's physique because like the margins are almost like even so
So
much more
minimal.
narrow.
So minimal.
Yeah.
So minimal. The room for error is so minimal. Not to take away that the others aren't, but like I've got my client Sam doing men's physique. Dude, I fucking love getting his check-ins.
Yeah.
Seeing his waist disappear by the weir and getting his obliques to come out more, watching him spread those fucking lats on those rear shots. I love it. I love working with my bikini girl Sammy and seeing her glute development and like the way we're
Yeah.
getting her waist to disappear with shots. Like I loved not to go on a tangent, but it's like what Alex posted on Instagram with that t-shirt he had on. He said, any weekend, any day, any division, I'm built
Yeah.
for it. And I'm like, yeah, I feel like that's how you should want to be in a sense.
Yeah.
I want to work with any and all.
Yeah, I would love to get a few fit model girls and start learning more about fit model and freaking start being the person dominating the Midwest in fit model. I'd love to do it. I want to win whatever I can win. I don't care what
Yeah,
division it is. So I that's my
yeah,
thoughts on fit model. I don't care. They can add as I think to a point it would get annoying if they were just doing a new one every year. But it's
yeah,
not like it's that, like they've added what, 3 new divisions in the last 10 years or whatever it is.
dude. And
It's not
something
that,
to
like, it's not that serious.
No, and something to consider for people that are listening with this, like what drugs do to men and what drugs do to women are two
Very different
completely
things.
different things. So adding in a division where PEDs don't need to be in play in any regard, I
Yeah.
think is an awesome way to make girls feel comfortable
They're
to
still gonna
give the
use
sport
them.
a shot.
Let's be
Yeah,
honest.
for sure, for
That
sure.
maybe
But
not
I'm
as
just
much
saying,
for
like,
androgens,
yeah,
but there's still gonna be some clen
yeah,
use, there's still
you're
gonna be
not
some
running
calories
NTP
and,
over
like,
there or anything like that. But
let's be
I just,
real, but
yeah,
a division that the androgenizing PEDs are less of a
yeah,
necessity. We'll say necessity because at the pro level, I guarantee we're still gonna see
you're
some
running
usage,
drugs. You're
etcetera.
running drugs.
But less necessary, let's say.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
not necessary at all for a lot of people.
Less exposure.
Um,
Yeah, I feel
yeah.
like a lot of girls with good genetics in a Pilates class could
Yeah.
train for a
Sure.
year and
Yeah.
hop in and go do
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. Okay, let's rapid fire these 2, and then we'll hit Ty's question here in the chat, and then we'll call it an episode. How many steps a day is too much? I would say, like, anything between, like, I'd say anything less than 8K steps. Honestly, personally, for me, I never have anybody less than 8K steps. If you're not getting 8K steps a day, that's terrible for your health. I'm just gonna be real
Yeah,
for you with
yeah,
you.
you need to move your body.
You
You
need to
need to
move your
move your
body.
body.
Anything more than 15K, unless it's an extreme scenario in contest prep
I
where
would
we're
agree.
pulling on every single fucking lever to try and get
Yeah,
you in shape. Unless it were in that situation, anything more than 15K, I find starts to become an issue for recovery.
yeah,
That being said, there is a way to balance it. If you have a very active job, you can't help it. You get 20K a day. There's a way to balance it. If you're a bodybuilder, if you have a big frame, you're gonna have to eat a fucking lot of food, though, probably.
a lot of food.
Yeah. I think that's good enough for that one. When is it time to use insulin? Uh, it's kind of
Uh,
tricky. I would say I don't typically use insulin, ever in contest prep. It's usually only in the off season. And
yep.
I'm usually only using it at the point where somebody is using more than I'm giving general guidelines here, guys. There's variance here. Let's talk about for males quick. Usually not unless somebody's using like more, let's say more than 6 units of growth hormone and food has to higher. It has to be high enough that it makes sense. And you can't be fat. If you're already fat, I'm not gonna put in
Not
insulin.
gonna work.
I'm
No.
just not gonna do that. If you're already insulin resistant and fat, we need to cut. We don't need to use insulin.
Yeah.
Um, that would be my guidelines for men. For females, it's probably like the growth hormone ratio to like when we're introducing insulin wouldn't be the same. It would depend on like what PEDs we're using with that female. Are they not utilizing androgens and they have no interest in androgens? Then we might be more likely to actually use something like insulin as a needle mover in that scenario. It gets a little bit more complex and it would probably take me longer than I want to spend to answer that question right now. But if you guys are curious about insulin use for female, we did an episode where we talked about it quite a bit, probably like it was
Quite a
probably like
bit.
the first or second episode we did, right?
Hmm.
Um,
I think so.
what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of hit it on the head. Obviously, if you're too fat, it makes no sense. Like, we're not really going to get much benefit out of it. If anything, you're going to get fatter.
Mm,
Um, I like to make sure a client's in a good, obviously, insulin sensitivity state. And like I said, my experience with it really just comes from slow acting Lantus for people when their food is just really high throughout the entire day. Like, if you're at 500 plus grams of carbs and you're doing 5 meals a day at 100 grams of carbs a pop, I think that's really just going to help take some like stress off your pancreas. And like you said too, it really just depends on the person. But along with what Colton said, typically if I see growth hormone is at like a higher dosage, like 6 to 8 units and above, I really do see it being like a peanut butter and jelly mash
yeah,
from the utilization in which that I've had with it.
yeah,
Um, and it just helps manage things like A1C and your fasted blood glucose. Like it can be just a really, really great tool to help keep health markers in check while while allowing for training performance to increase as well.
yeah, yep. I would say we're in agreement on all fronts there.
Yeah.
What would you recommend? Last question, guys. What would you recommend for someone who's just getting started with coaching and they want to be able to do it full time someday? Um, Dude, I
You're
think
gonna
we
have to
gave a
put in
lot
a
of good
lot of fucking
insight.
time.
Yeah, I think we gave a lot of good insight in the previous questions. I would just say again, like what Lance just said, it's just time. It's
It's a
like,
lot of
there's
time.
nothing that can replace time and skin in the game.
Nothing.
I honestly think in this day and age, the advice I would give is push back against norms. I think it's starting to become a norm that people are very like, they jump into coaching right away and they're promoting themselves. They're posting these fancy graphics. Dude, my coaching started taking off. If you go look at my page, it's literally just side by sides of clients or reels from the podcast. And it's just what I want to post. Like when I just
Yep.
started posting what I want to post. But I also would say too, like, coach as many people as you can. So if like you have to do it for free for some people
Get
or very
experience.
minimal
Yep.
cost, get
Get
transformations on your
experience.
page. Make it
Yep.
obvious that when somebody goes to your page, what the fuck you do and what your results are. Make it
Yep.
very obvious. Um, and honestly, if I go to someone's page and it's all infographics and like flashy stuff and I barely see any client results, I'm just going to assume that they're not that good of a coach, to be honest.
That or if it's a ton of photos of you, if all your page is you hitting fucking front doubles or you hitting your top sets,
Yeah.
dude, people don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
People could care fucking less what your chest
Dude,
supported
it's been
T-bar row
months.
looks like.
It's been over a month since I posted a video of me lifting.
I just post those. I honest to God just post my top sets here and there on my stories. I don't post shit about me anymore.
Yeah,
Like it's about my clients. Like
yeah.
if I didn't make money off Instagram with my coaching, I'd delete it tomorrow. It's a
Be
fucking stupid thing.
Yeah, if I had to sum up what we're saying in 3 points, be prepared to grind for a lot longer than you think it's gonna take. Don't quit your day job because you're gonna need income because coaching's not gonna pay you back for a while. And
Nope.
3, if you need to coach people for free to get freaking side by sides and
Get
transformations and results on
experience.
your page, then fucking coach people for free until you get enough
Yep.
experience. And Ty, you already have a lot of good results, dude. I've seen some of your clients that you've been working with and stuff. Just keep sharing that stuff. Um, keep picking up more people, which I know you will, and it'll come, dude. It'll come. You're definitely somebody that's gonna come for. I've talked to you a lot. You've been on my podcast, obviously. You're a very smart, heady guy. You get what it takes, you understand what it takes. You're gonna be a good coach, dude. It's gonna come for you. You just gotta keep doing what you're doing, you know.
Just
So
gotta keep grinding, dude.
yeah. All right, guys, that's gonna be an episode. That's gonna be it tonight for coffee and questions. I think tomorrow we will finally be back at Saturday and the actual coffee hour time. It will no longer be diet
Yeah.
soda and questions at 6 p.m. or whatever. But we appreciate you guys for hanging out with us and giving us your time. But for Colton at 3S Physiques and Lance Hefner of Lacey Strong Coaching, that's it for tonight. We'll catch you later.